Okay.
So cross-country skiing, possibly qualify. Like that, find it unsuccessfully.
Oh, no.
So you didn't get the text message.
All right. Is someone willing to take minutes? Since Kathy and Mark are not here. They don't have to be very super in depth.
Usually we prefer a member to do it, but I can if.
Somebody
somebody
would.
absolutely
Dwight's
don't
on
want
it?
to.
Thank you, Dwight.
You need paper. You got something?
All right, so call to order at 6:23. And attendance roll call.
Carolyn,
Here.
Mark,
Not here but excused.
Adam,
Here,
Kathy,
not here but excused.
Leslie,
Not here. I didn't hear from him.
and me. Here. They don't need to do that. Ben. That's it. I think they just make notes that we are.
Present.
Yeah, they were just say staff.
Three. Oops, excuse me. Trustee Benson.
Yes.
All right. Get a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Motion to approve?
And a second.
Oh, second.
All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. All right. Mark sent the minutes out and they are also, he sent the minutes out this afternoon. And everyone got a chance to see them, hopefully. So get a motion to approve the minutes as submitted
Motion to approve?
and a second.
Oh, second.
All right, perfect. So all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, any disclosure of conflicts of interest? We have no public comment, moving right along. So old business, I want to just touch base on the 5-year rec plan. I can see you've got the contract here, so just sort of an update on next steps, sort of what we need to do.
Yep.
Go from there.
So my submission of the contract was a little bit delayed. I was out of the office for about a week and a half. So I got that submitted last week. I am going to have a Zoom meeting with her tomorrow afternoon to talk about next steps and, hopefully get her and possibly her team on the books to meet with us hopefully next month. If they can't come in person, we can always have them Zoom in or something so that we can still be productive.
Okay.
And then touching base with her also on the non-motorized pathways and trails plan, which is more planning commission side, but they will be doing that as well. So
Great. And so then, as you talk to them, will you just let us know what time, like, if they're available next month to meet
Yes.
and what time so that we can just put it on the agenda
that
in a
may
space that works for them? I'm assuming it's going to be at the front, but
probably.
if, if I have something else going on, that way we can meet with them and talk through things.
Sure thing.
And maybe if we have any questions beforehand, we could get those together and get them to them. That might be
Yeah,
easier,
perfect.
and the same thing from there, and if they have
Sure.
any questions for us. So put it on my phone right now to a week out, touch base with. Send a reminder email, I guess would be the correct way to say it. If we have any questions. Any update that we need to know about for the Clinton County Road Commission stuff that's going on there?
So the only update that I really have, Superintendent Hildebrandt and myself, as well as our planner and treasurer met with, 3 representatives from the road commission, mostly because Mark Trotter is leaving to go to Ingham County for a new position. So we were kind of just doing, a little wrap-up session with him of where our projects currently are and what needs to be done, in between them hiring a new engineer. But during that meeting, we did find out that the petition still has not been sent to the road commission, so there is no movement with that. So
Okay.
currently, they haven't heard anything from the property owners, indicating if they are still planning on it or when that would be. So obviously, if I hear anything about that, I will let you know.
Because that's what they have to wait for. They're not gonna obviously go out and say, hey, are you gonna?
Yeah.
Turn this in, so they're just.
Yeah.
They're where they are until. Yeah.
Yes. And then as for the easement with the drain commissioner, that was brought up at the last board of trustees meeting. And Baron will be having conversations with him, based on how he would like to have that easement, where it would exactly be placed on the county land. So she is going to be having conversations with the drain commission on that.
Sounds good.
Hey, that sounds good, positive news, moving in the right direction, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hi.
Howdy, how's it going?
Good. Oh, I apologize for running so late.
Hey, Grace.
No problem. We were running late too, so that's all right. We mostly just started, so. All right. So bike racks, the way this is tabled from last meeting, you and I talked a little bit about potential for bike racks or need for bike racks or that. Do you want to say anything about that?
I'd like to say that it's still a work in progress. Thinking 5 to 7, I've made outreach to a couple of different artists to see what they could come up with for ideas and for price. And that's where that is. There's also through the Friends of Park Lake, it seems to be going through, but they're looking, the road commission is actually looking at signs to put on Park Lake Road by the park, just to let people know that kids may be biking or crossing the street there. And there may be people who are biking. Just let people be aware and know that there's, be careful.
Yeah.
That's kind of where that is.
I don't know if it'd be a possibility, but I thought I know you guys probably are sick of talking about the Meridian farmers market thing, but it was so cool that they had the thing for to fix your bike, like all those little things, attachments come down to work on your bike. I thought it'd be really neat if Bath had one of those, like even if it was out here, in front of like the police station or something, or at one of the popular parks, where people ride their bikes by or something. I know I would.
What
use
is it?
It's like one of those, where they have all the attachments for different things to fix
Okay.
your, like tighten up things on your bike that, tools that people might not normally have, like in their, makeshift toolboxes. I found it really cool that they had those there. You just pull it down, it's like hooked on these little straps, and they had like 10 to 15 different like little tool things you use for your bike that are common things, I guess. I don't know, because I've never worked on my bike, but I know that I've gone to work my bike before. I had a really hard time finding the right thing I needed. I had to go buy a special attachment.
It's like a multi-tool?
Yeah,
No, it's like a tower. We put it in the boat
I was gonna
launch
say,
for
I think
the,
it's kind of like the boat thing station.
Ah,
but-
so they have like these tools on a tether.
yeah.
And then you can. They don't leave.
Right.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Without some effort anyway.
But then that's a great idea.
Yeah, I don't know of any place close. I know down at Jackson National Life on the south side of town, they've got something like that
Okay,
in their recreation area. So that'd be the closest one I can point anybody to.
Michigan State has them all over their place.
I haven't seen
okay.
it.
Are they expensive?
I would guess they're probably around $300-400. That's a guess. I really don't know.
I don't remember, but I guess more.
I know the boat launch thing was like 2,500.
Oh, okay.
And then
That would probably be
it's-
close
it's
then.
too-
The grant funders, they.
Yeah, something like that, like that,
past and they're kind of pushing those around.
Okay, 8 common bicycle, so here's one for $7.75. Work bike repair stand. It has 8 common bicycle maintenance and repair tools. And a pump attached with aircraft cable. To keep it from disappearing, I guess. Yeah. So,
What's the height on, because do they have us? Any question how big is it?
that's tool,
15 high?
I think. Oh, yep, yeah. So,
So it'd be a little over 3 feet, 4 feet.
4 feet,
4 feet.
4.2. So. So 75 isn't bad. It's-
No. that's
At
really
all.
not bad at all.
Yeah. So. Cool. All right, so I guess if or when you have ideas or costs or budgets or that, bring them here and we can figure out where we're at and what we can do. Sounds good? Cool. Farmers market application or vendor update?
Posted, the
Awesome.
application is online. I'll be sending out an email tomorrow to previous vendors. Still working on my list. I got even more, I got a whole new page back to front of new people to call, so I'm working through that list slowly, but yeah, so really no update other than it's online, ready to start accepting some.
Cool. Down there.
And you guys have an application on there for, I think you had mentioned it, people who just wanted to come up there for instance, like soccer club, like if I was gonna go up there and do the registration
So
thing.
for the actual vendors who are gonna have a booth, there's like, I think it's called, what is it under, like, it's the very, very first one. It's like the agreement, what is the name that it's under? Vendor agreement and policies. I think, yeah, is what the main one is. And then under that, there's a guest application. And so if
Okay.
you're just more of like an information booth,
Sure.
not gonna sell anything, then that's what you fill out.
And there's no fees or anything for any of the get like those type of,
Okay.
not market stall fees. So I might schedule to fill out the application next week. And then you and I can talk some, so. Corporate chef for MSU,
Yeah.
so Becky had reached out and said to do cooking demos. Sort of who had done them in the past, and most of the chefs from MSU are now gone.
Yeah,
So I think we need to circle back, and the corporate chef just left like 2 weeks ago. So I will still circle back with him
Okay.
and just ask him like, hey, I know he's at Gordon's now.
Okay.
But I'll just ask him like, hey, who's on your staff that
Yeah.
we can reach out to?
Okay.
And then the other question that I'm still trying to find an answer to is what do we need to do to use the cooking demo?
oh, yeah.
And I think that I'm waiting for an answer back, but I think that we have to have county health come out and do a one-time
Okay.
inspection for.
'Cause I just
temporary-
had that training too, and that's what
Okay.
it sounded like. It sounded like it
Okay.
needed to be like, if you're doing something that was like less than 3 weeks or something, it was like a temporary license kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
I think it's a temporary food establishment
yeah,
license or temporary food establishment permit through county health department, I think, but I can,
yeah. Well, I'm reaching out to Neva anyway, so I can just kind of ask,
okay,
like, I was gonna do that probably either tomorrow or the next day, so I'll just also ask them to get their take on
Okay.
it, so.
Yeah.
So do they have to come out and inspect your equipment?
That's what I think, that
The sink and.
make sure everything works and that, yeah, so we should
Like
probably
set
pull
up.
stuff out of there at some point
Yeah.
too, and.
I don't think did you use anything last year?
No, we haven't, I don't think we've used anything since COVID, because we could have had to shut down the
Yeah.
cooking demo stuff then,
Okay.
so
Yeah. hopefully.
it's been a little while.
They'll probably want to know a few procedural things, like how are you gonna, how hot are you gonna heat the food? How are you gonna check the temperatures?
Yep,
What I've seen before.
okay.
Are there any rules that you know of, like, so going through MSU, but I saw some stuff about someone else who seemed to just be like a chef at a local restaurant. Are there any rules that you're aware of who's allowed to be a chef or do a cooking demo or anything like that?
No, we had, I mean, a couple of them, we had people that had found like Dan,
Okay,
the former trustee, I totally just, Stockwell.
okay,
He did one
Okay.
time, I think that Michael Sullivan maybe did one time.
Okay.
So I don't think there's anything legally
Okay.
there. We could probably double check that,
Okay.
you know, but, you know, I think,
I didn't see anything from what I
Yeah.
could tell, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to double check if you knew anything that I didn't. Okay.
do you have ServSafe? Are you
No,
ServSafe certified?
no, I was actually looking into doing that though.
I feel like that is something that would be worthwhile,
Yeah.
and I think that, that would be something I think the township would, you know, could come out of the farmer's market budget for you to be ServSafe certified. I think that would be sort of a good thing to have in general.
Seriously.
Yeah,
It might be too early for this question, but a question that's often asked of me about the recreation program and all programs in Bath is when some of this stuff is gonna come back. Okay, so are the farmer market guys gonna be up to doing that dinner? Well, that was a really big deal.
it was, so I feel like what we had talked about last fall was. And that may have just been, we had just come together, we postponed it for that, we had said, you know, we could do that again as we've done it, or we could do something. Combining it and have it in one of the township parks, since we're the market and the, you know. Parks and Rec were coming together, that would be less, would be a different time of the year and would be less involved. Although it's early in the season, and this is how I always feel early in the season. Alright, we're gonna do it all. There's gonna be no weeds on the farm this year. You know, I'm not opposed to saying like doing something in the summer. That would be more like a hog roast type thing. And then also doing, I mean, that's our biggest fundraiser easily, for the market. In the fall, and it was just I love that event. Even with the heavy lift that it took to do some of it,
The community really remembers that.
yeah, so.
All right,
I think asking now or starting to plan now would make that a lot better, so.
I was thinking about events, just like about, each month trying to like add in an event, and I didn't have an idea yet for the farmer's market birthday celebration in July. So if that would be one that fits.
Yeah,
Just throwing it out there.
yeah, we could think about I mean, that would be definitely like a hog roast style
Mhm.
one, I feel like,
Does Bath Day tie back to this committee at all?
So Bath Days hasn't really been a thing since before COVID. After COVID, nobody really wanted to step up and
Beth, this was a function of the.
handle it anymore.
yeah, it wasn't through the township, right, it was a volunteer community basis. So-
Looking back into where you might have this, I might recommend to the board to take a look at the pavilion at Wishwasher Park. That's a really nice facility with nice tables and there's water there.
Mhm.
There's a grill there
Mhm.
already, parking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Might facilitate something like that really quite well.
That could be that, or we could think about if we did it during, I mean, we've always done the anniversary market or celebrations during the market hours. But let's
Do
think so.
you guys have a tent? I heard somebody had a tent.
Or we have like a easy up tent, we don't have like a tent, like a
Okay.
graduation
Yeah.
party tent or anything. No,
Not that.
we don't have,
That fits me.
yeah, it's like a 10 by 10. Yeah, and then the cooking demo tent is 20 by 10, it's a double setup. So,
Well, if we wanted to have it where the farmer's market is, we could always rent
something,
something to have that in.
yeah, like that, right in that back behind the pavilion. There, there's that open square space.
Right.
That I think that's where they set stuff up for like when they did graduation there a few years ago for the high school when they couldn't be inside. They set that up, I think, back in that section. So, yeah.
I had 3 girls, so I rented those tents.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I think that would be a nice idea. Oh, yeah, so we could think about July. Kurt, who Katowski, who was the MSU corporate chef, that's good Gordon's now, had said, he had said he'd be interested in doing that, but I'll check in with him, he just started this new job. Um, corporate chef for North America for Gordon, so I don't know how much he's traveling or that right now, so.
And when you guys have, you to have a chef for that. Dinner.
It was him also, it was him and then one of the sous chefs from MSU who owns the vegan place that opened right called Vegan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it opened right by Midtown Brewing Company downtown, that's her restaurant. So she was the sous for that, and then we all helped in the kitchen, you know, sort of board people helped in the kitchen as needed, and we served and that kind of stuff, so. We had talked at one point about, you know, just. It was just easy, like Kurt always did it and, you know, it was just sort of, we knew how it was all gonna work. I wonder if at some point it would be worth trying to tie in with, some of the hospitality students, either at MSU or LCC. To sort of have an event, have to look and see who's sort of in charge of that stuff now, but. My guess is that we could get a hog, well, yes, we could get a hog at least at cost. If not partially donated, would be my guess.
You could just rent the roaster.
Yeah,
Banish or somebody who's there. Lakelands and them.
yeah, I mean, we could pull it off. I think that's. All right. I like that idea for July and then for the anniversary market and then in the fall. October doing the dinner again. Or PPAP. Again, if we get that on the list now and start checking things off, we can get a lot of it done ahead of time. That we usually save chili in. I agree, that was a good event,
Yeah, well,
It was-
people
people
still
really
talk about it.
yeah. It was a lot of fun,
There's still. I'd like to see some of those things come back.
me too. I think bath days isn't, you know, I think there's a question out there of like, you know, should that become, or some portion of it, or some part of it. Become, you know, something that the township rec, you know, group does, which I think it. In my mind, it sort of is a yes, the answer is sort of a yes. And that is it, I mean, everyone always wants the tub races, you know, if nothing else, everyone's kind of like tub races. So,
That is a huge event.
it is, people, I mean,
They take in the car show and all the activities that went on there. That group met monthly.
Yeah.
And then when they got done, they took a deep breath and started meeting again for next year.
yeah.
And
So I think we could, and I think people would enjoy it, I think people would want something, you know, even if it was like. I don't know if it would have to be all of the rides and that type of stuff again, or all of, you know, but if it was even just like. Beer tent, band, or some live music, some beer tent, food trucks and tub races, it might be something that like. See how that goes, and if that goes well, then it's like, okay, do we grow it again? Going, you know, the following year, evaluate what it looked like and,
Yeah, even having like local like sports team do like tournaments of some sort, you know, like some sort of like basketball 3-on-3 during that and like softball kind of thing, you know, or
Yeah.
soccer, whatever.
Yeah.
I just think it'd be fun. I know at Bath, I mean, it's Tom Shores where I grew up, we have the Blueberry Festival, and that's when the sports teams do like a bunch of their things, and you can get like the clubs involved, so you don't have to always worry about just doing it with just one particular, you can spread it out to others, and then that brings in more people usually, which is helpful and fun. It gives the kids and, you know, young adults something to do as well.
Right.
Especially if you were gonna have like the rides and stuff, you know, it would still bring them, they would have them something to do.
right. So that could be. It could even be at the middle school, right? It could be
Right.
right across the way there.
Right,
It's like
yeah.
close, you know,
Yeah.
elementary school's gym, middle school gym.
Right.
The cars and the car show. The car show that takes place at Bath Corners, is that through the year, next year, is that affiliated with Parks and Recreation involved?
It's not affiliated with us, but I do have contact with them occasionally, just like when coordinating the use of space or coordinating events, like when we had the Halloween, like the farmer's market, we had left the trunk or treat going across and the car show was going. So just when there's events, I kind of like reach out to them to see what they're doing and everything, but they're not affiliated with us.
Think they might be interested in taking on bath days and bath races.
I could reach out and see, I'm sure they'd love to be a part of it, absolutely, yeah.
It seemed like a relevant.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
The car show started with that days. And now it's a weekly event in our town.
I think they need to bring a portable dynamometer so they can test their horsepower.
That'll be noisy.
Burn out, man.
If we were able, I did take that, stuff, we could always reach out to the Air Division as well. Cause I'm sure they can help us with like the beer tent stuff and the community stuff.
Yeah, I think someone that's got a liquor license to be able to figure that, I mean, we've
Yeah.
done that before for temporary license, the temporary liquor license for the dinner. But if there was, I agree, if there's someone. And then we're not just in our own silo here doing it, right? I mean, that's what we're trying to, that's what we've been pounding our head against for a decade or more. Like, how do we partner with people? To do things together, so. And then it might even be, I mean, it could even be the wildlife pub for music, right? They've got live music there, they've got contact with people
Sure.
if they, wanted to do a. Music.
I never went to one of the farmers markets dinner things, but I still wasn't sure how big it was, but did you guys ever think about using the wildlife pub or something like that? Cause they have that big open deck in the back, it's really pretty. I mean, it's fun, weather permitting for some things and.
We hadn't, so we had done, I think we could max out at 100 there, and we were usually in like that 85-ish plates number, so
Okay. It was something I was just thinking about, it wasn't sure
yeah,
how large it was, but something close by and.
yeah.
And they have a liquor license.
Right, on site.
That's a good idea. I never thought about renting a whole facility.
So if we had, just trying to. We had trying to Legion for beer tent, for music. Tub races, we said maybe car show.
Excuse me.
Basketball. 3-on-3,
Yeah.
yeah. And then food trucks, I think that we could. Figure that out, it will be
Yeah,
there.
obviously a bunch of food trucks actually this week, so. Hopefully I'll have a few on here.
Alright, so. It's March now, when, is that usually August, is that when that happens?
Yeah, first weekend of August.
And that gives us time, I would guess that. If. So that's the 4th. My guess would be that if we said like, hey, we would like to. Or we're planning. Bath days, people would be pretty ecstatic, I would say. I mean, I would say over the last 3 years, anytime I feel like bath days has come up, people have been like.
I love bad days, so I am willing to, roll up my sleeves and help out with it.
Yeah, me too. So I think it would be something good that the community has said they want.
Yeah.
So. All right, so for that to happen,
I throw a couple more.
Yeah.
The Lions Club was involved in that.
okay,
And then the church right next door to James Cousins Park was also serving some food and getting involved in that.
is that the
They were-
Methodist?
Yeah.
They were partners in that.
always have their welcome back picnic, and so maybe they're willing to move it and
Oh.
do the backpacks and stuff like that at the same time, maybe.
Yeah, because I think last year they did it 28th or something at the end of the month,
Yeah,
so.
They always really good for that, so you could do the
Yeah.
for the.
Oh, yeah.
days.
right,
Get us some local coaches up there, or something, or principals.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
yeah,
Or maybe some township workers, I don't know, I'm not throwing it out there, I'm not stirring up the pot, I'm just saying. Might be fun.
We did pretty good.
so it probably
Check
takes,
Facebook and see whose name's out there.
yeah. We saw you volunteer. You posted 4 times about bath days. You are now on the committee. Thank you for participating. So if we think about that, so we would need contacts at the Legion.
I have, I
Yeah.
can do the Lions Colored Methodist Church for sure. I already talked to people there, and then the car show people, I can talk to all 3 of them.
I know Legion people, I can talk to Legion people if you need to.
So I feel like what we want to do is we want to get like, we don't want, what we don't want to happen is like, we talk to these 3 people and then we talk to these 3, we want to talk to all of those people at the same time. So we
Right.
want an email of something to go out or that says like, hey, we are interested in this, like, here's some ideas, we'd love to get together and like in a room together or in the wildlife hub together or at the Legion together or whatever. And like figure out how to do this so that then we don't have, you know, even it's, you know how people are, even if it's like a day later that the wildlife hub is like, wow, they went to the Lions Club and I heard, you know, whatever, like I think we want it to be. We want to avoid those kinds of things from the get-go. So do we want to put a list together of those people in the contact? And then like we could craft an email together. I can take a first draft at it and get it out to. That's not an open meetings issue, is it? If like,
If it's less than 4 of you that are talking, you're good.
As long as we don't all come to that meeting. we're all
Yeah, that
set.
too, yeah.
so,
Actually, we could all go to that meeting. As long as we were conducting business.
related to this, it's a bat, that's a bat,
Related to.
Yeah.
Recreation.
so that's a bad days. Conversation as citizens or residents of that. Even if it doesn't. So that'd be usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday.
I think usually Friday night it kicked off, and then I think it
Yeah.
went through Saturday afternoon usually. We don't need it to be if we're just gonna be doing the, you know, a few of the things. Could probably do a Friday kickoff, end it Saturday.
Friday band and beer time
Yeah.
after work hours.
And then the
And
race is
then
Saturday.
race is Saturday and
Yeah.
then
They usually
band and-
did like test runs. when we
Oh,
did
that's right, yeah,
The night before.
yeah, so
So
that
go
could
up and everybody could test their, make any tweaks or,
yeah,
and at one point there was, I don't know, how crazy you want to get, there was 2 different weight classes. You don't have
Okay.
to weigh in. But I think they just ran them all in one in the last few years.
yeah, we did it one year with the farmer's market, we just borrowed a tub from someone, I don't remember whose it was, and it was, yeah, it was just like show up and run a couple trial runs to
Yeah.
make sure the wheels didn't fall off and away you go.
Didn't the fire department used to come up there and do they just
Yeah,
like
they did.
wash the street?
Well,
or did
so
the
it
fire
used to
department wash
be, whoever lost from the year before had to wash their trucks.
Okay.
So
Okay,
if police got beat, they would have to wash fire trucks and vice versa,
okay.
which they washed a lot of fire trucks.
So another partner for you is John Wright.
Oh,
He
yeah,
owns the car care center there. He's got the stoplight and the starting stuff, and it's all in his garage.
yeah, okay.
Somebody better call JD Warner, tell him to come back to town. Was it that weekend?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we
He
need
did do a good
MC.
job, yeah.
Right, so that we don't have open meeting issues, can does everyone want to see the email before it goes out, or is everyone okay with what it looks like? Like, as long as we have 2 to 3 sets of eyes on it before it goes out?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So it seems like between the 2 of you, you have contact for all of
Yeah.
the people. So do the 3 of us want to,
Yep, you want me to just go ahead and send you contact info for all these people?
and just like where they're at, which
Yeah.
ones they're at,
Perfect.
names, and yeah, emails, probably email is good, and phone number if you have it. I don't think we'll need phone numbers
Both for
right
everyone.
away, but you know, so I wanted to go out
Mhm.
to everyone as an email, so everyone gets it together. And then I'll make sure I'll draft an email in the next few days. And then you can both look at and read through it
Sure.
and make changes or edits or that. And I'm not gonna try to make it very in-depth at first, right? We can, we can go down that road when we need to, who's doing what, if it's gonna happen, but just to, hey, we're interested in resurrecting this thing. And you wanna get together? Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Cool. Thanks all. That wasn't, I didn't think that's where we were going tonight, but.
Detour.
No one posted back days of starting up on his page tonight, please. No, no, stop.
I'm just kidding.
Just kidding. For your own mental health, stay far away from that page. So. All right, great. Oh, all right. New business? Anything we need to know about as a committee for what's happening at the township? Or,
Not at the moment.
okay. Just wanted to stick it on there so that it was on there and. That was the as needed part. And then I'm gonna touch base about the Bath School Museum meeting. Did anyone go to that meeting? No, so Kathy went for us. I was out of town and Mark had parent teacher conferences. So Kathy sent over, where did she send that? Just a quick. See if it came here or. Maybe she sent. Yeah, all right. So what she had to say was all positive things. Currently, so she just said there is a formal announcement that the museum is interested in building something at the at Cousins Park. That they were interested in having a small event space, a lobby and gift shop. That they are talking to architects and cost estimates now. They have no idea what it's going to cost. They're thinking 20 to 24 is fundraising, 24 to 26 is construction, and then it's something that would open on the 100th anniversary in May of 2027. So in the Q&A, she just wrote, they don't know the cost, they're waiting for a design. They are aware that there's park lease things. They want to maintain green space, and then they said specifically that they wanted to work with the farmers market and the Methodist Church, and that anything is on the table, and that they know that the market and them would obviously have some discussions and work together. And that like they are interested in seeing where it goes, I guess is what it sounds like. So they had a little read on here, but they have a little computer rendering that it sort of looks like the school looked like 1-story level there. So her takeaway was that it's obviously very, 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 very early with no costs or anything or space or that attached to it. So I think where we're at right now is that, we had a representative from our committee there. They're not trying to do it alone or go it alone, and that as we go down this, we'll see where it heads.
They came and presented to the board.
Okay.
And the board offered some financial support. when they got to they have to get to the architectural phase, you have to have approved architectural drawings.
Yeah.
To get costs.
Yeah,
Okay, so that, you know, we offered to help them with that.
okay,
They have not been back to us yet,
okay.
okay?
Which sounds good, and I think that. If they want to drive it, that's my feeling, and there are a number of. Markets that are around the state that are within close driving distance that we can go and visit, that we know people at. Who have built a building, a multi-use building that would be, you know, something functional for. Community space, market space, kitchen space, those types of things, but I feel like that's. That's far down, you know, down the road, I think, for now, like they need to get. Stamped drawings to be able to get anything,
So this isn't a sign, but it's something you should be aware of. We're involved with the Sidewalks, the school program right now. 2 of our grants have been funded. And we have 1 more grant up for both the sidewalk between the middle school and the high school. That is yet to be funded, okay? But as they got back with us, they told us if we were to put that sidewalk next to the church where it's supposed to go between the church and the old school,
Mhm.
down through there,
okay,
we'd have to do an archaeological dig on the site. Okay? And nobody has defined that for us yet. Is that 200 archaeologists with spoons out there digging 4 feet down in the ground? So we really don't know, but this group should be aware that on that site, there's going to be some restrictions as to what you can do.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just wanted everybody kind of in the same boat.
that makes sense.
Is that because of the bond? It's historical?
Yes.
That's why it's.
They just don't want you to cover up anything of significance with concrete, and I get it.
Yeah. And that's state. Regulations?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
Because it's a marked historical site, that would have to be done with anything that goes under.
so,
I don't know that we had to do that in the past because the facility we have over there now that the band plays in is right outside the front door of the old school.
okay,
But I don't remember having to do a dig to put that in there.
yeah,
Okay, so rules change as you go
Right.
along.
and your grandparents were involved with that
They
and stuff, right? And so, yeah, so it's also, you know, it's a little years ago, and so it's, you know.
Yeah.
We should build a pavilion and.
Could have been.
You know, it could- yeah, exactly. So, well, that's good to know also that, yeah. That even to do a sidewalk, there needs to be a thing, so that. Says, yeah,
Really expensive.
We're not sure yet. We haven't heard, I don't think our engineering firm has quotes for it yet. They're still themselves trying to figure out what the extent is that would need to be done, similar to what trustee Lindsay was saying. They haven't gotten a firm answer on that yet.
Well, it's like all plans, you have to be flexible.
right,
Some stuff is doable and then some stuff changes and you just have to adjust. And get the best that you can get.
makes sense. All right, so I think that, you know, my guess is that they'll have another. Informational meeting, or come to the board or those things, and, you know, as we find that out, we can engage with them and. Go from there. All right, some staff reports. So,
Yeah, kind of already covered a little bit of farmer's market, so applications are up on the website, sending out emails and kind of working through my list still. Got a double up food book training later this month, and it seems like it is official that it's dropped from 20 down to 10. And then, yeah, just the cooking demos that we've kind of already talked about too. I was hoping, trying to set up like a little bit of a calendar and just make it so I'm hoping for every like, maybe like every the first of every month and the third of every month or some, or yeah, the third Thursday of every month, have like a cooking demo, at least a handful of those, if not, hopefully at least like 5 or so of them. And then on the other one have like events, and I had some examples that I've come up with. June, I'm expecting to do like a art demonstration. I know a couple local artists. One has actually made like a farmer's market coloring book.
Nice.
And so maybe, have some of those and hand those out and everything, just have like some sort of an event like that. July would be the market's birthday, maybe another bike tune-up or like back to school kind of bike event in August, which maybe if we're talking about doing that bike tune-up station, that could be like an unveiling of that in it too, or something like that. Maybe like gardening demonstration in September, and then there's something called the Great Lakes Apple Crunch in October, and it's like a statewide thing, so I was gonna tie that into, especially now that we actually have an apple vendor and doing all that, so that's just kind of some
Would
ideas.
you have an apple vendor?
Yeah, we do, she was at Helmish.
Oh,
Farm.
yes, that's right.
So, yeah,
Yes.
and she's planning on
She's
coming
coming
back
back.
next year,
Awesome.
so hopefully we can tie that in, but if anyone has any other ideas or anything as those come along, that's just kind of ideas that I've gotten while I'm kind of throwing things out there. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for farmer's market or yeah.
Yeah, so just while it's in on my head so that you have it in your mind is when we've done chef demos, I don't remember if we've talked about this. We just give them market bucks
Okay,
and record what
Oh,
those
okay.
are, and then they can go around and shop from the vendors, and then it just comes out of the farmer's market budget so that they can have stuff that's, utilized from the market, and then vendors get paid for it, and then they're not using their own money, and we aren't trying to shop
yeah,
more importantly, we aren't trying to shop for them before
yeah,
they can walk around and see what everyone has and go from there.
all right. Yeah, anything else about farmer's market?
I was gonna throw out there that I saw that they were doing like a cookie decorating thing, not at a farmer's market, but at the dairy den or something by Lansburg. Anyways, it was a huge hit there.
Okay,
And I just thought it'd be fun, like, to use a couple of our local bakers, maybe Two Sweets or the other one. Maybe.
and I always go with 2 sweets.
Yeah, so anyways, she does really pretty sugar cookies and stuff, and I'm
Okay.
sure she'd be willing to come do like a cookie decorating thing. I know the 4 kids inside for it, so let me know what it is.
All right, and then with recreation, okay.
What did you say went from $20 to $10?
Oh, the double up food buck program, so that's like whenever someone uses their bridge card. And gets the SNAP EBT coins, then I can also give them, match it in double up food buck tokens, which are $2 tokens. And with those, last year it was $20 I could match, so if you spent 10 in SNAP EBT, I could give you 10, if you spent 20, I could give you 20, if you spent 30, I'd give you 20, so it was just maxed out at 20. Now that's just gone down to 10 instead.
Oh, I don't want to harp on every meeting, but did we talk about like the gift cards or looking through that at all anymore?
So our treasurer just started. But she's still getting acclimated and she has her audit coming up.
You told
So.
me this wasn't on top of the list.
Yeah. But yeah, so she, I kind of spoke to her about it briefly and she said, yep, we'll talk about that later. So after the audit in April, it'll be a good time to talk to her about that. I know that she is also interested, which we have talked about for several years now, getting things to be paid online. So Treasurer Wilson is definitely interested in that. And those are things that she'll have more time to look into after the audit process.
Awesome.
I weigh into this. Before I joined this board, I did not know how big of a heavy lift this is. So whatever she can do for us, we should be very thankful. because it's a heavy lift.
And anything else on farmer's market? Okay, and then with just recreation, just kind of starting to pick up again here, got some programs and everything, we got the school lunch program this summer. I'm starting to kind of book some stuff for that. Baseball registration is opening at the end of the month, so Little Sluggers at T-ball. Just kind of, let's see the egg hunt. We talked about that in the last meeting, so that's gonna kind of look like I'm just making a flyer and kind of finalizing some stuff today. It'll be on April 1st. It'll be from 12 to 3, and the idea is we're gonna have eggs of different colors at one at James Cousins, one at Fletcher Robson, and one at Westfosser. And so kids can go there, get an egg. You have to come to the back community center with one egg from each place. That's each color. And then there will be candy in those eggs too, and then you get a, chocolate bunny when, the prize at the back community center. So getting out there, getting people looking at the park, spending time in them, and then coming back and celebrating Easter and having the Easter bunny. So,
Great.
Yeah,
Did you reach out to my mom at all? about the
not yet.
lunch?
I was gonna talk to her this
I
week.
don't think they're doing the summer
No?
lunch program. I don't think they got funding.
Oh, really? Okay.
So you might want to touch base with her. before you
Yeah.
make plans.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's a eat up and meet up, or meet up and eat up.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Before they had that part though of it, I'm pretty sure they still did like the summer activity things. It was just like the Beehive kids would come over
Oh,
and they
yeah.
would offer to like the public and stuff. So, I mean, just to throw that out there, it's still be a thing, yeah. Oh, the Little Buzzers, U6 soccer. Yes, I could think of the name of it. They are, actually registration open for that.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it right up until, like 2 weeks before it starts, actually. But they've gained like 20 some new kids.
Oh, wow.
For the spring, and none of the old kids said they weren't coming back. So that puts the program almost at like 50 some kids. And
Oh, wow, awesome.
yeah,
Okay.
so it's doing great.
All
Doing
right.
great. And so I don't think more about me about all the time looking to sign up. And so it's still open. So if they were home here and ask, it's still open. It's gonna be open until that program kicks off. I think it's the Monday after Easter.
Okay.
Is it 11 maybe or something like that?
That sounds right.
So anyways, that is. I'm gonna have it go until like spring break basically, and then I'll cut it off. Okay. So that's doing good, and then just know that the fall registration isn't too far behind that, so that kicks off June 1st.
Okay. And did you want to have a tent or what, like, is that the information book you wanted to have at the farmer's?
I was gonna,
market?
I was gonna have like a registration flyer, and I haven't included on the flyer now, like all the different age programs, because I had the registration on the same exact time. Otherwise, I have too many questions I can never remember. I don't remember when that closes. Let me check. So I try to run them all together at the same time, so. But yeah, so it's doing really good. There's lots of kids, and it's gonna be on Mondays again, and then Wednesdays will be their makeup day, because we have a lot of kids, so. Are we have porta potties lined up to go there?
That's,
Okay.
I think last year, this was the week that I signed that contract, so I'll be getting that again and get that signed the next couple of weeks for sure. I think the drop off date was like April, like middle of April, kind of, I think, at the beginning of April, so I'll be calling on that and getting that scheduled.
Okay,
Will you, this is not on you, I don't want you to take it like it's on you, it's just a long before your time thing. We sort of got an okay one at the market, but like the doors never were got to latch, especially at the soccer field.
Okay.
And like, kids go in there and then they're like, hey, can you stand out here while I like, try to like not have someone walk into the bathroom? It's totally not on you. It's been like.
And I think someone complained last year, I don't remember who it was, but they were like, you're gonna get a good porta potty, right? And I was like, I don't know, I guess I could ask, like, to see like, what's like with the deal on it, and he was like, oh no, we make sure they all like work in perfect order, like, and then they came out and then there were problems, so
Yeah.
if there ever is a problem, just let me know, because usually they're pretty easy to work with, and they can get someone
Okay.
to switch them out or
Okay.
whatever, so yeah, if anyone ever sees one that's not, if it's dirty, if something's broken, just let me know. and
Okay.
They can usually get out pretty soon and fix it
Okay, so
out.
April 3rd is when the older kids start for soccer.
Okay.
And then April 10th is when the U6 kicks off.
Oh, yeah. All right, I will make sure that it's.
Thank you. Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, that week.
Yeah,
She mentioned that we're on the 3rd. You'll be loaded. I think we have like 200 kids signed up for soccer. A little over 200 actually for the spring, so.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's wonderful.
yeah, they have enough for the varsity team to have a varsity and a JV.
That's great.
They have 26 kids come out for it, so
Nice.
that's like, actually, it's too many for a team, so you have to have.
Yeah.
Some people. That are also-
Are they gonna do a JDT?
I asked. I don't think so. But it would be cool.
I got hopeful there for
Yeah.
a minute.
Yeah.
I heard Dr. Lydia, did his first practice today, but I haven't seen her yet today, so. All right, anything else?
No, that's all I have.
That's co-ed then? 200 people.
Yes, there's boys and girls teams, yep.
Park stuff?
I don't have a whole lot, since our weather's just finally starting to break. But we do have a few things going on. I'm gonna meet with, and this is kind of, following up from last year's, Wiswasser Park Survey Project. When we removed the house down there, we're trying to figure out what to do with all this area. So first thing we decided we need to do is combine all those lots. There's like 8, I believe there's 8 different lots down there. So they did a certified boundary survey, and we'll also have to do, there's an old Nichols Road right of way, which will have to be abandoned, which goes basically right up through the middle of the playground. And then once that gets through circuit court, we can do a land combination and make that all one parcel. The second half of that project was to do engineering for the parking lot, which is on the, I guess, the south side of the playground there, the existing parking lot. And in that engineering plan, we'll have final site and dimensioning plans, a grading plan, final storm sewer and stormwater management plan. The big problem with that park is all that water comes down from Park Lake Road and goes on the playground.
Yeah.
So we'll try to figure out the best way to reroute that water and contain it, whether it's rain gardens or some sort of catch basins or something along those lines. There'll be a soil erosion control plan and final stormwater calculations built into that plan. That's kind of our big project. Once we get that engineering plan, we can go for it with bidding it out and doing actual construction. Probably will be in 24.
Okay.
So before we do any other maintenance or repairs or upgrades to the playground itself, especially the port in place and the surface there, we're gonna wait until we get this water situation figured out. So we'll have to do some patchwork most likely in some of the areas and redo some of the wood chips, but nothing will change in the playground this year. A few more projects for 2023. We're gonna be doing some maintenance on the bathrooms down there, just a paint, painting the walls and doing epoxy on the floors. We're gonna add 4 more security cameras on the pavilion. They actually were very helpful in solving at least the hit and run recently of the ones that were on the bathroom. So we're gonna add some more and possibly maybe we're trying to figure out how we can put one at the boat launch, since we do have a vested interest over there, and try to get something in the same system there. Soccer field maintenance, it's definitely in need of some maintenance down there, so we'll have to work together with the soccer club to figure out the best time. I met with Steve Torak a little while ago just to get a general idea, but we would sometime in the summer in between seasons, we'll have to get in there and do a section of the field.
I think that's June. I was just looking at the schedule.
I
Like
believe
June
it is.
6th, I think is maybe our last weekend of games. Does that sound good? Okay.
And we'll need a couple of weeks. I know that last year there was a couple of, was it a camp, there was some camps or something in that
Yes.
time period, so we'll just have to coordinate when we do that and make sure that we're not gonna take up the entire field, but just as probably the southwest section of it. We did the southeast section the last time, so we'll kind of get that flattened out and fixed up a little bit. Graveling, the parking, making a gravel parking lot at Robson Road Park is budgeted for this year. Upgrading our park facility signs, and I know that we're in desperate need of some signage. Some of the stuff that's fading and falling apart. We'll redo some of that, and then just put some other, park hours and park rules that make it a little bit accessible and readable for the public. And then I actually also talked to you a little bit about earlier, the landscaping and planting some trees and things around the park, and we talked that maybe some of the community, there could be like a community event or some other, the Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts or some groups come out and plant some trees during Earth Day. I believe do you know if Clinton County's doing their free sales or when that takes place?
About right now.
Are they taking orders for it? How long is that open for?
I think, I'm not sure. It's kind of this time.
I knew it was coming up. Yeah, I'll reach out tomorrow and see what, I mean, if you guys had an idea. I do know I talked with Karen last fall about planting some pine trees on the north side of the Upton Road property along the highway. Just for future, we don't know what's gonna happen over there, but it would be kind of nice to have a noise and kind of a visual break there from the highway.
Yeah.
We could get, we could plant 400 or 500 trees along that. In 10 years, they might actually have a little fence row there.
Right.
And then the only other thing, I wasn't at the last meeting, and I know you talked a little bit about Spark grants and had an update on that. I just had a couple of ideas to throw out there that might be possible projects for Spark grants, and we talked a little bit about the kayak launch. I did get some plans for like a pit toilet for the beach bathrooms. It'd be a waterless, and similar to what you guys see at the like state boat launches and parks.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll have to get Eagle involved with that for
Right.
sure, but there's some really there's a company that's what they specialize in for national parks and their county parks. There's a really nice 2-stall with a maintenance closet, no electricity. And they're basically have a company come and back it out every so often. Of some sort of fit court we talked about, and a multi-sport court that's in the CIP plan, but it may be available to fund it with us, some sort of Spark grant or anything outdoor recreation.
Yeah, and they haven't, so just so you know, what we talked about, so they haven't released the second. I looked again right before we came, they haven't announced second round yet. But they have examples, or not examples, they have the projects that they are recommended for funding.
Oh.
And the locations that are on their page now, so we can look at those. I've gone through them a couple of times and seen like, what are they funding? What are they interested in? Are there any kind of themes that they're, doing more of this or, yeah. So then those are all up on the Spark grant page, so.
Okay.
I think those are all good ideas, so.
If we were gonna do the Earth Day idea, I was thinking that what would be a good idea is for you to write down like all the parks that we have and like simple projects that like the youth could do. Whether it be like plant flowers, clean up the garbage, maybe paint the back of the sign when it's not wording, I'm not sure. But I was just thinking like small projects like that they could do, or plant the trees like you were talking about. And then like we could make like a sign up sheet online, like a sign up genius kind of thing with like each park listed, and it give examples of like list of what a group would need to complete and what the township would provide for that park and what that group would need to provide themselves for something if they were going to. And then whatever you approve for those parks, we can post it out, and then like the soccer club was always talking about doing like an Earth Day event, like so like some of the teams could jump on and pick certain parks, like Girl Scout groups could pick those, church youth groups could pick parks. I just thought it'd be fun to get the kids all out there doing something, and so I thought Earth Day's on April 22nd, and so I thought like the 21st and 22nd would be good days to have those groups do those things, So if you want to do that, I'd be happy to help, facilitate like with like the sign up genius portion or whatever, putting that together. I would just need to know like what parks and what you would want done at them and what the township could provide versus what the you would need from each group to provide. And then I would, of course, need to direct it back to you so you could talk to them through and make sure everything was, okay and permitted. But if you need help with that, if you think it was, I'd be happy to help facilitate that, because I thought we should get that going. It'd be fun to do. And
Yeah,
I
that's
just do
coming
it.
up pretty soon.
yeah,
Do you know when I guess the trees would be delivered at all, or when you can pick them up? I'm sure that's on the website. We've looked at it several times in the last 6 months.
So the school used to do an Earth Day thing with the kids. And all the different groups went out and worked. And the group that worked with us at Park Lake would come to Wishwasher Park at Park Lake, and basically they just raked it and picked up everything. We provided all the rakes from the neighborhood. It was a very beneficial day. Then they go down to the beach and finish up. Pick that all up, and it was very doable. But I don't know if the school does Earth Day anymore at all.
Is that like the Unity?
Yeah, they do that.
Was that during Earth Day? Was that?
It was in the spring, I remember, but I don't remember.
So they still do Unity and Community, but it's a little different now, because they'll send groups to go help our seniors if they sign up for it, so it's
Okay.
kind of like you have to sign up. If you want students to come help you.
Yeah, they usually go to like the different seniors and like homes and like that and break and do things like that.
They
No, some of
were
the
a good
seniors-
partner in the past.
Yeah,
This, like the seniors that are, will be graduating, they need the community service hours.
Yeah.
But that's about all I have.
The only other thing I was gonna, I feel like I talked a lot about soccer too, I apologize, but soccer's over since the season, but, will you guys be, grading the road into the township park, the soccer park before the season begins, you think, or do you think you?
Probably,
Oh,
Is that getting pretty bad?
It's,
I know
it's hard to go like this.
we did that in once in the fall, but yeah, we'll,
Yeah, it's not that big giant one like it was before, it's more of like a bunch of little small ones where you're just kind of.
and that was something else that we've talked about, Cody and I actually, is there's a lot of traffic coming in from the hand drive trail.
Yeah,
And setting up some sort of barricade, or I think they're gonna get in anyways with the four-wheelers and stuff, but it is a constant battle when people tearing that driveway up in the yard. But,
yeah,
um,
maybe even another camera back there, I saw there's one in the shed, but maybe like one back in the pavilion, so you can catch them coming from over there, maybe.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Yeah.
Figure something out.
all right, anything else for Ben?
You said that we weren't really planning to do anything to Wiswasher Park this year. And when I drive by there, I just see that where the house used to be, it just seems like so much open space and park and cars so fast. And, you know, is there a gate? Is there a rope or something that kind of like
Oh,
better a little bit?
Just like a guardrail kind of.
Just kind of deter maybe to keep the kids from running across the street or parents at Easter. Know that.
We can come up with something, I'm sure.
That would be a nice addition to the park. So factor.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can go in that grass this year, but if you can, you should look into doing like an aerobic class. for
Yeah,
motion.
that space should be good this year. I mean, we seeded it last year. It was mostly last year just keeping off it so we could get the grass established, but I'm hoping it came in pretty well last year, and I'm hoping it really takes off. We'll throw some fertilizer down as soon as it thaws out a little bit, and probably overseed it again, and hopefully it takes right off. And it should be a
There's your
usable
backdrop
space.
and do some-
Keep the
you
cars
tell me besides that, I know we were behind you. Besides that.
This is a question for Ben. I don't know what this group knows, but we bought some more property there. We bought the lake lots across the street. So I'm sure we're gonna be cleaning those new lake lots up and be part of that.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's actually part of this year, so we'll be doing the same thing with the boat launch that we did with Wiswasser, and surveying that and doing land combination with those two lots there. So we'll turn that all kind of into.
all in one.
Yes, one parcel.
Maybe until you do something else with it, if you decide just when you guys clear that area out by the water there, maybe we could add a couple more like picnic tables or like seating areas for people, like that'd be nice to, you know, remember the water. So neat.
A teachable moment. You cannot drive a car on that property.
Oh. Oh, good thing you said something.
Please.
That, with all those cattails in there, part of the problem is with the boat launches, we removed all that stuff. And we ended up having to do a restoration, mostly for the wave action, erosion and muskrats and stuff get in there, so. We'll have to come up with something if we're gonna open that up. some sort of erosion. Prevention. But we'll start thinking about what we want to do with that property too, but at a minimum, that's gonna get the brush cleaned up and. And that old fence pulled out of there. Great.
All right, no public comment? You gave us some updates when we got started, anything else to?
No, I think I talked enough.
All right, any member comments? I think people are gonna be pumped if we pull off something for bad days, like people are gonna be
Yes.
very excited. So I think we should get that moving quick. I just made a note to draft an email tomorrow. So if you put that together, I'll think through that.
I'm just gonna watch this video tomorrow.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah,
We should also, I'm thinking of it, include Mr. Vetter in there, because if we do like the parade part, just so he has the band, on their schedule, because he sent out the end of
Yeah.
the year schedule here pretty soon, so.
and do they played in that before?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
In the parade, they have a birthday parade or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they have like decorating contests for it, usually with parade. I wouldn't know, because I'm a first place report.
It's a big deal to put the band together in the summertime, because the kids are everywhere.
Right.
Well, that's like right after marching band camp happens, so
Oh.
hopefully, like, they would work
They're kind of
practice and ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, might be like their first kickoff event kind of thing. I don't
We don't have we have a kid in middle school band, but not high school band, so I don't know the answer to this. Does the high school band have do they have like jazz ensemble? Do they have like individual breakouts, like quartets, that type of stuff? They had that at our school.
They used to have a jazz band because I was in it.
Okay. I was
They
just
do
thinking
the
about,
concert
but it
band
used to-
now and the marching
Like
band.
this, they call
Okay.
it stage band.
yeah,
So I don't know, is there a band, the band play at the basketball games or anything?
They do
Pep
the
band.
Pep band, yeah, so that was kind of a stage band, pep band.
okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking if there was if we do have a music, like a beer tent and a stage, like maybe it'd be fun to see if there's even, we always had people in band just got together and played, and there might be 3 of them here, 4 of them here, 10 of them here, like
Right.
if there was like an afternoon time slot for them to.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Karaoke hour or something like that.
Yeah, that goes on the beer tent.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so. Well. Well, again, I think the goal is to get everyone on the page and then to not say we're doing it all. That's the goal here, this is a collaborative thing and keep different people to be responsible for the different parts of it. So. Cool. All right. We'll watch the Bath Trash page, see if we are up on there tomorrow. Deny. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you agree to that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so,
Motion to adjourn.
here at 7:36. Get a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks everybody for coming and doing this. It's really important.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Second.
I put out.
Less.